So, I wanted to talk about the Exodus Summit and the best thing that I got from the Exodus Summit, or what is called now Move Abroad School. So, I participated, I think I've joined, I don't know if I've joined the first one, but I remember in 2020 when it was Move Abroad Money, I believe so, either 2020 or 2021. That one was extremely valuable because even though I had already my source of income figured out, it was a great inspiration for new forms of income, but also to be surrounded by other women who were doing the things that I wanted to do and things like that. So one of the major things that I got out of the Exodus Summit was the community. We formed a lot of breakout groups, WhatsApp groups, accountability groups after the Exodus Summit. And we still keep each other accountable, whether it's for YouTube accountability, Move Abroad accountability, business accountability. And those are the greatest thing, in my opinion, the greatest things that you can get out from the Exodus Summit. Of course, the teaching part, but me personally, even this year, I signed up. I didn't sign up last year, but this year I signed up not so much for the content itself, but for the community again. I think that I only watched maybe 3 of the sessions, like on replay. One of them was something that I was really interested in, which was how to deal with moving abroad and having aging parents. So that was a very great session, and to me personally it was of interest because my parents are getting older, obviously, and how to navigate this whole thing, me being away with my family, with my kids, and how to have communication with my siblings when it comes to caring for my parents. So that was very, very insightful. I needed to have that. But the other sessions were great. But one thing that for me, again, it's my own personal case, because for us, we already know where we want to go. We're not in the season of trying to figure out where we're going to go, and should we go to Europe? Should we go to Latin America? We already know it's Africa or nothing. And we already know the 2 countries, it's Cote d'Ivoire or Cameroon. We're not looking at anywhere else. So we already set on the where to go question. We already set on the income question, although it doesn't hurt to learn new ways to make money and to grow your income. And a lot of the sessions are targeted or geared towards beginners, like people who don't really know that they can move abroad, or they can take career breaks and all that. We're not in careers to take breaks from, so that doesn't apply to us neither. And so a lot of the things don't apply to me, but they're still extremely, extremely valuable if you are in a situation where you're like, okay, how do I take a career break? Or can I even take a career break? How's that going to look like? Definitely extremely valuable. Even if you're not, it's also very, very valuable. And so to me, a lot of the content from the Exodus Summit is let's say this way, most of the targets of the Exodus Summit are older women, like in their 60s, 70s. That's what Stephanie Perry said, that her viewership is mostly from women in their 60s, 70s. I'm 43 and I have young kids, right? So I'm not the main target, although I am also peripheral target, right? I've talked about that in other videos, like how the content is still relevant to me, even though I'm not the main target, right? The main avatar for Stephanie Perry and Rashida Dow. And so with that being said, most of the women who are asking questions or are doing the thing, moving abroad, are older women who are either single or have don't have children, or the children are grown and they're doing it alone. Like they're traveling solo, okay? They're gone. Like they say, hey, taking my sabbatical, I'm gone, right? I'm not in that situation. So a lot of the content doesn't apply to me. I can get inspired inspired from? I don't know, English is hard sometimes. I can get inspired from doesn't sound right. I can get inspired by, yes, I can get inspired by the content and the stories and all of that. And I definitely get inspiration from it. But a lot of the answers I don't find the answers from there, and that's fine. I don't have to, and that my point is that you can get answers from different places, okay, based on your needs. A lot of my questions are specific to moving to an African country. A lot of the women in the Exodus Summit don't move to Africa. They move to Europe, Mexico, Thailand. Those are very, very popular destinations. Very few will talk about their desire to move to the continent, and specifically a French-speaking country, right? So again, my case is very specific. Africa, English, French-speaking country, and it has to be either Cote d'Ivoire or Cameroon. So obviously the choices are very limited coming from a Anglophone, English-speaking audience. And that's why I personally also pull inspiration from French-speaking creators. So a lot of my connections or my accountability or support that I get and all of that, or the things that I watch, also come from Francophone, French-speaking channels like Investir au Pays, what else? L'Investisseur Africain. There's a lot of different channels. If you speak French and you're on my channel, chances are you know those channels as well, right? And so that's why it's important to get different sources, right? If there are things you cannot get from this source, then find another source and get it from there, right? And so to me, I find it very balanced, because everything that I need to know about Cote d'Ivoire or getting residence in Cote d'Ivoire, I get it from the French-speaking channels, right? Because they're going there, right? And or things about insurance, okay? Like when we talk about insurance, a lot of the times they don't work in a lot of African countries. A lot of times, right? Or when we talk about healthcare, and when we talk about how healthcare is usually better in Portugal, okay, but is it better in Cameroon? It's not. Okay, so how do you deal with that? Okay, so certain things are better in the US, certain things are better in Africa. Like for us, we want to go to not work, but to invest, right? And a lot of the content in the Exodus Summit is not that you're going to work or invest. It's just to go and rest or live your best life. Like and that's fine, right? It's perfectly fine to each one his own. But so for me, it's not necessarily the purpose of our Blaxit. We are not leaving so we can, I'm not going to say so we can rest, because there's rest involved, but there's work involved and willingness to work and to invest and to do stuff and to build. That's the word that I was looking for. Our reason to move, and that's a lot, I mean, because I'm an immigrant here. So I am like repatriating in a way. And so a lot of the reasons why a lot of African immigrants want to go back is because they want to go back to build. They want to go back to invest. They want to go back for that. And so I don't get a lot of that from the Exodus Summit, because again, it's not the same target. But I pull that from the Francophone audience, from the Francophone channels and all of that, where this is the goal. We're going back to Africa because it's home. We're going back to Africa because we're going to invest, because we have to invest. And we're not necessarily looking at moving abroad to countries to make our life comfortable. We're looking to move back home to the continent because we want to build. It's going to be uncomfortable, and we know it's going to be uncomfortable, but the priority is not the comfort. The priority is impact. So, yeah. Sorry if the video was a little shaky, but I needed to share that. And hopefully you will stay tuned for the next episode. Today was day 2, even though I'm filming it on day 1. But hey, I told you this was going to be spontaneous. And so as the ideas come, I can record them, I can schedule them in advance, or I can just post them on the same day. But I wanted to share more of the behind the scenes and raw, unedited thoughts that come out of my mind. And sometimes I say things, and English is not my first language, so here we go. But sometimes I say things just as they come to mind. Sometimes I plan a few things. But either way, I wanted to share my thoughts, and let me know what you think. do you have the continent in mind for your Blaxit? That's my first question. Second question, what are you getting out of the Exodus Summit? I'm getting so much support, so much accountability, the sisterhood, all of that, and the information as well, because there are things that apply to anyone who wants to move anywhere, right? I already did a move abroad. Coming here to the US was a move abroad for me, right? But I'm getting so much information from the Exodus Summit and from the ladies in the Facebook group, and I love it, and I love it, and love it. But I also need from other sources, from people who have young kids, from people who speak French, from people who are going to Africa, from people who are going to Cameroon or to Cote d'Ivoire, and how to deal with certain things and how to deal with African families, because it's different. Like, there's so I need to source my information from different areas. And so tell me where you're getting your source from, like, and if your destination is not a popular quote unquote destination, how do you get your information? How do you get the accountability and the support? And hopefully you're getting it from somewhere. All right, I'll be talking to you tomorrow. Bye.